Hello everyone, we're angry today. Yes, it's a new patch and they killed Viper. But did they really? Nah, not really. Was the nerf necessary? Yeah, no. But what? Are you saying that she's not great? But all the people watching VCT saying that she's broken? What? What do you mean? Well, obviously the pro players are right because 75% brick rate. Are you guys crazy? What am I watching? We're gonna react to the patch notes and we're gonna laugh at people who are being morons in VCT chats calling for Viper nerfs. And I'm gonna explain to you why they're all wrong. Alright, let's just jump in and read the fucking patch notes. Alright guys, so 8.8 patch notes made me giga angry. It's like not even funny. We're gonna jump straight up to Viper. We're gonna talk about Cypher in a second, okay? I'm a former Viper main, and I stopped playing Viper because she got nerfed to the ground and it's just not enjoyable to play in ranked. So now, definitely gonna start playing her again, okay? So, in the previous patch, she had a problem because they nerfed her ahead of time, but we're gonna read out the patch notes. So, as you have continued to improve leveraging Viper's strengths, she's grown into a dominant meta force and constant presence in pro play. Yeah, I wonder why. Quote unquote map pull. With this update, we hope to solidify clear weaknesses that Viper has compared to her peers while still maintaining her unique identity as a controller/sentinel hybrid. You should feel that Viper has to commit to her positions and manage shorter individual uptimes per smoke to use with her unique ability to control her smokes over time, which essentially tells you, yeah, we thought in the beginning that the design for Viper should make her pretty flexible when it comes to like placing her smoke, while only the one piece of utility that was committable was the wall and ult, right? But now you can have any flexibility, all right? All right, so reduction in total smoke uptime coupled with reduction in the cooldown of reactivating aim to reduce her total stalling uptime and push you to better manage fuel. That's like the goal, right? So they want you to think more about how much fuel you have. So you have to go to tank station more often. Increasing the minimum fuel to activate her smokes creates a larger window for enemies to attack when her fuel is fully drained, which was already bigger gap than my mom's ties, by the way. So now it's gonna be, I don't know, 2 moms. Poison Cloud only being retrievable in the buy phase pushes you to make sharper calls of where you place the ability each round and sharper her identity of high influence in a highly committed area, which means that if you were a good Viper main who was repositioning the orbs and playing with it, now you're fucked because you can't do that anymore and now you're being just nerfed because you're too good at playing the game, right? But also, remember, sometimes I played the game as a Viper still in ranked. So for example, last week I played Viper on Breeze and I was being on A and I threw the orb into A main and suddenly I couldn't pick up the Viper orb, right? So I think Riot was like, you know what? We can't fix this bug because when you throw the Viper orb right here on the like plank that is on the ground here, you cannot pick it up. So someone from the interns and Riot was like, you know what? I have a better idea. We are gonna just not allow people to pick it up in general. So then we fix all the issues. And everyone in VCT chat was like, every single Reyna install, like every single Jet install was like, yeah, bravo Riot, good decision, yeah, let's have the Vipers, right? Remember the bug with the peak from the orb, that you can pick up the orb before like you could turn it off, so it creates like this desync of visibility because of the orb, right? Fixed! Yay! Bravo Riot! Fixed! You can't pick up the orb anymore. It's fixed, guys. Yay! Yay! All the Reyna mains rejoice. Yay! All right. Reducing Snakebite C to a single shot reduces how often Viper can use the ability to fill the gaps while her smokes are down and increases the importance of fuel management. The increase in duration ensures that a single Snakebite charge is lethal to all enemies that aren't aced for its full duration. Am I going insane reading this? When they nerfed the Snakebites, they literally did it the opposing way. So you can't kill someone in a goddamn corner. So why do you now changed the entire philosophy. Obviously, it was something that you didn't like in the past, but now you reverse it because it's only one molly? None of this makes any sense. Like, any sense. Like, guys, I was so mad when they nerfed the damage of the snake bites, because the damage of the snake bites went from 176 or 175. I think it was 175. It went down to 136. So currently, pre-patch, when you throw a snake bite, you deal non-lethal damage to someone in the corner, right? But now, because they change it from 5.5 to 6.5 second, right? You're gonna deal 151. So I will show you right now how to counter the lethal range of this snake bite after the patch, okay? Pay attention, please. Pay attention, please. All right? Pay attention. This hoodie here is a snake bite, okay? I'm standing in a corner. Someone throws a snake bite. Oh no, I'm in a snake bite. Oh, didn't kill me. That's how long you have to stand outside of the snake bite to not get killed. This is a joke. This is a joke. Those nerfs are just, they make no sense. They literally make no sense. You can still counter this the snake bites to not get killed by them, right? You cannot jump up because that was nerfed in the past, because you could have bunny hop through mollies and get less damage. They nerfed that, so you cannot just jump up and not get killed anymore, right? But when I was playing Viper, and how Viper is being played at pro level is before the nerf to the 136 damage, right? You are using the snake bites to cover molly positions on the let's say I'm gonna show you. Let's say we play bind, right? And you do an execute on A side. So you were typically throwing like lethal mollies here, lethal mollies here, for example. Those are the two positions. Or for example, here and here, right? To make sure that those positions are clear by the mollies. Now, after the nerf, you couldn't do that because you still have to look in those positions because people can still stand in them, right? Nothing changes, but you're gonna only have one molly, right? Now, the thing is about that they try to force now Vipers to be more committed, but they give less utility and less impact, right? But she has no substitute. But I'm gonna talk about in a second. But let's go into the actual changes, okay? So first and foremost, you have to read this sentence before you get confused about what are three numbers. They made a mistake and they introduced some changes to Viper in a patch 7.9. So this is before the previous accidental nerf. This is the accidental nerf, and this is the number that you're gonna actually pay attention, okay? So you only pay attention to the first number and the third number. This doesn't interest you. This doesn't have any impact, okay? This is just a bug that they didn't do anything about. So before the nerf, your smoke could have been up for 15 seconds, or the wall could have been up for 15 seconds. If you combine them, then your fuel is being reduced to half. So it's gonna be 7.5 seconds. Now, after the nerf, you're gonna only have 6 seconds of both wall and smoke up, which is basically nothing. For context, guys, for context, when Jet had 3 smokes, her smoke duration was 7 seconds. So when you have the wall and the smoke up, as a controller, your smokes will be up for 6 seconds, okay? Now, another nerf that will actually hit you like a hammer and your ears will be ringing. Minimum fuel needed to activate smoke increased by 33%. So you're not gonna be able to activate your wall or your smoke until you get 30% of the fuel, which currently is 20%, right? So you're gonna have to wait 1/3 more of a time to activate the wall and the smoke. But don't worry, you're gonna buff. Cooldown on reactivating the smokes after putting them down reduced from 8 seconds to 5. So if you use the fuel, you're gonna be able to activate the smokes and the wall faster by 3 seconds, but you're not gonna be able to do that because you're not gonna have enough fuel. I don't have the ability to test it in game, but that's what I read. Like you're gonna be able to activate the wall and the smoke faster, but you're not gonna be able to do that if you just depleted your fuel. So this buff only works when you used less than 69% of the fuel. All right? It's whatever. This is a poison cloud. Can only be picked up during the buy phase. This is like rip. Like this is like a legit rip. Like you're not gonna be able to play around chamber trips. You're not gonna be able to play around alarm bots or stuff like that because you have to commit to the orb, right? You're not gonna be able to play around. Let's say one of my favorite things to do on we go back to Breeze, right? We go back to Breeze. Like if I was playing Breeze, I was typically like playing with on B, let's say, right? I was using the cloud to have it here, but they're not going towards B. So I pick up the orb, right? I pick up the orb, I take it with me, I rotate forward towards A side or like from mid, right? And then I have the ability now to use the wall because I didn't commit to the mid wall, which is pretty dumb overall. So I'm not able to like do a wall for this, use the smoke for the spike and diffuse and like create pressure and so on in like different angles. Now you're not gonna be able to do that. So in ranked, what you're gonna end up with is your Vipers are gonna do this at the beginning of the round. They're gonna do the most awful mid walls that have zero impact whatsoever. I don't even know how the people do it. It's so bad. It's like they do something like this, maybe like that. I think they do something like this. Like maybe even from here. Yeah, they do this, no? Yeah, don't do this, by the way. Like they're gonna just commit to this. And then they're gonna have zero util for retaking on A, right? So you're gonna have literally zero utility when rotating if you play ranked like this. Which, by the way, you shouldn't. You should never use the wall on mid, specifically also after the nerfs. So you have almost zero flexibility. And the snake bite, now you only have one snake bite, and it deals 151 damage. But don't worry, guys. Not only you got nerfed when it comes to the amount of the snake bites, you will be charged more for it. Right? That's good. So you have a cheaper kit. You only have to spend $500 now to have a full kit of a Viper. Cheap loadout. Anyway, so now why am I so angry about that? Right? Why am I so angry about that? I am angry about this because when you consider why people are calling for the nerfs of the Viper is because people are saying, bro, but she has such a high pick rate, man. Okay, so let's think about why do people have an opinion like that. People have an opinion like that because they are knee-jerk reaction endies that don't understand anything that is happening in the actual games. They look on the surface level. So we're going to look at the surface level as well. We're going to go to Champions Tour. This is Americas. And on like this regular season that we have right now, right? And where's Viper? Wait, this is win rates. Let's go pick rates. Oh, 79% pick rate on Viper. She has to be broken, bro. I didn't watch a single match, but 80% pick rate. She has to be broken, man. Why else would she be fucking picked so much? No? Wow. Okay, let's check maybe EMEA. All right, let's go. Pick rates. Almost the same. 69%. A little bit less than in America, but has to be broken, man. Like 7 out of 10 she's being picked. Like this is insane, bro. That's nerfed to the ground. She's better than Chamber, bro. Legit. This is what people are saying. Okay? They're legit people who are saying this shit. That think that a pick rate is an indication of how powerful the agent is. Now, let's actually use our brain and think, why does she have such a high pick rate? Let's go through maps. Let's start with Breeze. 100% pick rate. I wonder why. Well, maybe because Breeze is built in a way that you are required to play Viper. Right? Okay. All right, well, that's one map. Okay, let's go next one. Icebox. Oh, 100% pick rate. I wonder why. Oh, yeah, now I remember. Because B-side is built in a way where it's very hard to cover it with something that is not a wall. Okay. So we have now 2 maps out of 7 who are requiring to play Viper at a pro level. Okay. Now let's go again. Lotus. 96% of a pick rate. Oh, that's interesting because the map is just built like Haven, and Haven had almost no pick rate of Viper because teams were not adapting correctly. So on Lotus, you play double controllers because the map is big and you have a lot of areas that you need to fight for and delay or maybe deny vision. So Viper is a perfect substitute for positions where Omen cannot smoke. Okay, makes sense. So now we have 96% pick rate because 3 maps, the map design of it actually favors Viper as an agent. Okay. All right, now we pick out another one. Let's go to Bind. 4th map where she has 100% pick rate because the meta established that you need to play slower paced game and deny informations on short, on A side. Literally every single round that you're gonna see at pro play is gonna be the the Fnatic wall and the Fnatic orb that is here. Every single round on attack, every team is gonna do this. Sometimes one team gonna go, you know what, I'm gonna do the lurking wall. That is literally just this. Sorry, from here. And I'm gonna do this. Like here. I'm gonna deny the information from lamps and I can go into sight. Interesting. But 99% of the rounds are gonna be literally this. Leave a gap on the right side of the boxes, cover the top of the box over here, cover lamps, deny information from short to make sure that the players from defense side of A cannot control this area without using utility. Okay. So we established that the map pool on 4 maps is literally you need to play Viper because the map design requires to have it, right? Okay, now we have another map, Ascent. The most boring map in the entire map pool that has established most cookie cutter composition has 2 picks of Viper in Americas and 3 picks of Viper in EMEA. But she's playable because she has the same substitute as on Bind. But the map doesn't favor her because teams are not flexible to play with her there, right? So, and then we have Split, which is essentially the same case as with Bind. You have established metagame where you literally, if you play Viper, right? If you play Viper, you have 2 setups that you will use. A lurk wall on A with an orb on ramp to deny information. This is literally reimagine Bind. This is literally the same purpose. Like Bind, lamps, and wall. This is the same, right? And then you have a Cypher who's covering the other side of the map with a similar setup, or you have a Cypher who is substituting this with his cage over here and with his cage over here, like this, right? And then the Viper does a wall somewhere on B and a smoke here. So you typically would have, if I'm not mistaken, something like this. I can't remember what the pro teams actually were doing a wall on B, but I think it should be something like this to make sure that you can go into backside of B without being checked, and you can deny information. No, actually, if I would be a pro player, I would just probably do this, like a wall like this, because it's closer to the exit of this, so you can easily hide behind this wall without being exposed to rafters of heaven. Anyway, my point is, Viper is perfect as a substitute controller because of the map design, and you're still gonna have like an Omen that is gonna smoke mid, right? And you're gonna have recurring smokes. So now you have like, this is why it's so popular, because it's so effective on so many maps. It's not the power level of the Viper, it's the design of the map that makes her playable. And just because of that, she's being nerfed because the map pool favors her. You need to either rework completely the Viper, or you need to change the maps in way they're being built. Because right now, you're gonna end up with a metagame. Let's assume that pro play gets this nerf to tomorrow. Nothing will change. She's gonna have the exact same pick rate. Because there's not a single agent in the game that's gonna substitute her choice. Because there's nothing in a kit that has exactly the same purpose. There's nothing that has exactly the same kind of kit that will make it possible for you to choose something else. You cannot play Harbor instead of Viper on bind and be like, yeah, this is fine. No, because Harbor cannot lurk. He's telegraphic. He shows his position. He's gonna always announce where he is. He's doesn't have like an ability to be on other side of the map, and like I can play Viper on split. I can be here, but I can still pop my setup on B. You cannot do that with Harbor. Harbor have no stopping power. You play defense as a Harbor and you feel like useless because every single piece of utility that you have is gonna be vision denial and not actual threats. So you have no one to substitute that. The closest substitute to Viper is actually Brimstone, because he has a molly and an ult that has stopping power. Clove doesn't have that. Omen doesn't have that. And Astra, well, yeah. I'll just stop talking about Astra because the only useful part of a kit is actually the stun, right? So it's incredibly reactionary from Riot what they're doing right now, and the audience is gonna be happy because they think this is gonna change anything, but the pro teams will not change anything. We're still gonna see 100% pick rate on Breeze, we're still gonna 100% on Icebox, we're still gonna have 100% on Bind, and we're still gonna have like 90% pick rate on Split, because the maps are just built in a way where Viper is just good, and there's not a single other agent that fills the exact same role that you will have as a Viper, which I can't remember what even I put in my compendium over here. Let me check. Viper, controller, secondary smoker, zoning, post plant, support, lurk, right? So essentially you have no other controller that can serve the same purpose, because the second smoker is essentially Clove, but she has no good utility in like having an like, I don't know, man. Post plant. I don't even know why I put post plant. This should not be post plant. No, let's delete this. I think I put post plant for Clove because I thought that her grenade has a lineup possibility, which is not the case. So, oh wait, I cannot edit this because I'm on a different account. Never mind. Anyway, my point is, like, this will change nothing, and the only thing that will actually in pro play, and the thing that will get affected the most is the players playing competitive. So people who are playing the game in ranked, those are the people who will be affected the most. No one else. And as a player, as a former Viper player, I'm just sad because I cannot play her anymore. I played her when she was unplayable with the first like iteration, where there was no DK on walls, on smokes, there was no molly there was no debuff on the molly. The ultimate was affecting your teammates as the same as opponents. So she was like impossible to play. And then she was getting some buffs. She got too good at some point, I agree. Then she got nerfed 16 times, and now she's getting this. But she's still gonna be picked because she is not the main reason why she's being picked in the first place. She's just like a supplement to the composition, supplement to the map. So yeah, let's talk about Cypher now, because that's another knee-jerk reaction. Like when I saw Cypher being played like after the buffs, I was like, yeah, those buffs are pretty strong. Like traps are incredibly powerful from Cypher. But the thing is that it's a skill checking agent. Cypher, for me, is the easiest way to assume or like get to know if a player is smart or not. So let's say we play Sunset. The most basic trap by a Cypher is from here to here, and it's unbreakable from the tunnel, right? If it's placed correctly, you cannot shoot this trap even with heavy guns unless you go into the range of the trap. So it's a skill check, because you need to figure it out a way how to deal with this trap without shooting it. So you have to either use utility, or you have to go for market, or you have to default more in the mid. You have to take map control, or you straight up go A, right? So you have to deal with this. But then you see, and by the way, I'm sorry DFM, but you failed this skill check and you should be punished for it. You literally were watching a VCT Pacific where DFM was just walking through the trap on B main because they had no ability to destroy it and were just dying to it almost every round. Can't remember who was it that I played against. It was DFM against DFM against, what was it? Anyway, so the point was that if you have no idea how to play the game, you should be punished by Sentinel setups, right? But now that's gonna be way tougher because one, rearm time increased from 1 second to 2. That's like, wait. We have read something different. Wait, give me a second, because I had a patch notes. Ah, no, never mind. It's all good. Okay. All good. My bad. I misremembered. It's all good, my friends. It's all good. So we have the rearm time increase from 1 second to 2, which is like, okay, right? But it's like, I don't think it's necessary. It was a skill check to be sure, to make sure that the teammates should be next to each other and trade the trap, destroy the trap, and someone goes into it. So otherwise you would be getting into it as well, right? That was a skill check for the players. But then slow on the trap reduced from 2 seconds to 1.25. I'm fine with this. This is literally fine. I think the slow was pretty long. And if you go into the trap, you get stunned, you should probably be dead. So you shouldn't be punished if you're not. That's the fuck up from the Cypher side. So this slow nerf is actually okay. But the problem is that now we have a nerf on the camera, and that's the biggest problem that we have. We've seen it become common for Cyphers to hide spy cams in a play space and continue watch enemies without them knowing. We've added an audio telegraph for enemies who are being watched to provide those who are quietly moving a cue that they are being watched. Now that's just bullshit. That's just bullshit. Because one of the main aspects of playing Cypher is being a rat. Right? One of my favorite ways to playing Cypher, we're gonna take Lotus as an example. One of my favorite plays of playing Cypher was putting a trap above entrance over here, very high up, right? Very high up. Then putting traps that were on site like this, right here, right? This one and like this one over here. So it was for people planting over here. Like it was even before the nerf, so don't mind it. And then I was playing from here with a Cypher cage that was being put like this. And I was playing from here, right? From this spot. So when the round starts, I'm going into the camera and I'm waiting. And if opponents are going from C long, they just walk in and they think it's empty. But I'm still watching them. And they never check the corner because they're just dumb. It's not because they don't know they're being watched by a camera. They just don't look anywhere. Right? So they just walk in and I know exactly where they are, and then I can strike and push them to the traps, or just literally wait for them to go into the trap. I tap the camera or like turn off the camera without checking, and I kill the player who was planting, and then I still have the camera for the retake. So now your camera is gonna tell the opponents, yo bro, there's a camera over here. So the Reyna goes, where's the camera? Oh, you're gonna find the camera. What's the point of being sneaky beaky spy when the spy like taps the fucking opponent on the shoulder? Yeah, bro, I'm watching with a camera. They put a megaphone on it. Put a megaphone on it and just have a sound. Because it was a skill to actually be able to play Cypher silently and get an advantage from the utility that he has. But now you're gonna just announce that someone is watching it. Like, at this point, Killjoy's turret is just better than the camera. Legit. There's like, why on earth would I like to have a camera when I could have a turret that deals damage? Right? It's better. Straight up better. Your opponent will still know that there's an info gathering piece of utility here. But there's no, like, literally one of the main reasons why you should be using it is like to gather that information like silently, to not be exposed, and that is being lost from Cypher. So I'm pretty mad about this, and I feel like this is completely unfair. He's being nerfed. He's being nerfed significantly because people had no idea how to deal with Cypher. Because you go into ranked, you go into a ranked match on Sunset, for example, right? How many games we had like this, where a singular trap from Cypher is not able to be destroyed because your composition is like this. Jet, right? You insta-lock Jet, insta-lock Reyna, insta-lock Clove, insta-lock Cypher or Killjoy, or my favorite would be Chamber. Right? And then you get a Sky or a Fade. And that is like your most common... I would actually do it like this. This is your most common composition in Sunset Ranked. Write this. No one wants to play Sova. No one wants to play KO. No one wants to play Breach. Those are the three most chosen. So, first line, second line, third line. So when you have a composition like this, there's literally nothing to break the trap. The only thing that can actually trigger it would be a dog that would have to jump up and go into it, right? And people were like locking those agents on Sunset and then go throw arms in the fucking hand and be like, sorry, throw the arms in the air and be like, but Cypher is well broken, man. Well, how could Riot do this to me? I'm not capable of thinking and now I have to. So I'm being skill checked by a Cypher trap. You're literally being outplayed by a fucking piece of utility, little bro. You know? Yeah, actually, chat, you're right. There can be also a Gecko, I'm sorry. Probably like this. Probably like this, like a trio of initiators that would be playing this. So, literally the outcry of Reyna mains and Jet mains and Clove mains and whoever else is there who would never use his brain his entire life is just crying about Cypher traps being too strong and Cypher cameras being too strong. And now we're nerfing Viper and we're nerfing Cypher to the ground. Well, to the ground with Cypher is a little bit too much, but we're nerfing the way that you should be playing Cypher silently and you know, from the shadows into a way that he's just like announcing his position. I'm here, bro. Yo, bro, I have a camera here. Like, he should be making photos, man, with a flash. There should be a flashlight on the Cypher camera showing exactly the position. Where is it? You know, and just be like, oh yeah, bro, I'm watching this. I'm watching this. And there's a spotlight that just like a prison fucking guard, you know? So what's the point? I don't get it. So we're living in a world where Riot will nerf every single agent to the ground that is not a duelist, and even if they will nerf the agents to the ground that are duelist, they're still incredibly potent. So why on earth should I play an agent in ranked that is not a duelist when all of the nerfs are hitting me so hard when I'm playing the other agents? Literally, when you think about the agents, like Astra, nerf to the ground. Breach, well, considering he had free flashes, I mean, yeah, but who wants to play Breach, right? Brimstone, nerf to the ground with the steam beacons, but those were broken as fuck. So, okay. Chamber, nerfed. Clove, he's gonna get nerfed most likely. I don't know why. Cypher, nerfed. Deadlocked, his ass. Fade, nerfed to the ground. Gecko, nerfed to the ground after the initial buff, right? He was so much better. Was he? Was there a nerf after the buff? Can't remember actually. Harbor had to be instantly buffed. He's so weak, and he's still weak because his only thing that he can do is vision denial, right? ISO is ass because of design. Like, he should be Reyna. That's it. Jet, even though she's nerfed to the ground, she's incredibly powerful because of the ability of dashing away from to safety or like creating space, and the ultimate is still broken. KO, no one wants to play him. Killjoy, nerfed to the ground at some point, right? Neon, too much committance, but it's still like more viable choice for you for ranked than anything else, right? When you consider other agents. Omen, nerfed to the ground with Paranoia being shit now. Phoenix, fantastic for ranked. Probably one of the best agents to play in solo play. Raze, even after nerfs, she's incredibly she's incredibly powerful for ranked. Reyna, this agent should not exist in this game. Is single-handedly making the experience for everyone worse because of stuff like this. Literally like this. Like, why is it even an agent with no utility in the game, right? Sage, nerfed to the ground. Skye, nerfed to the ground. Sova, nerfed to the ground. To a point where Sova main players don't want to play Sova. Viper, nerfed to the ground. To a point where Viper players don't want to play Viper anymore, right? Yoru, quietly OP. Don't tell Riot because they're gonna nerf him and I'm gonna be mad. So it's like, what's the point of trying to be a player who is not a duelist and be a more supportive agent for the game, right? For the team, when you're being nerfed with a hammer over and over and over again, to a point when you just make the realization, and why am I doing this to myself? Right? Why am I doing this to myself? You guys remember 2 days ago, someone sent me a contract to play Sova on Bind. And I ended up, I have nightmares from this, right? I have a Reyna going into showers. I have a Reyna going into showers, and I'm telling the Reyna, bro, I'm gonna put the arrow, we take showers, and then you go with my drone. Right? For sure you guys remember that. We go into the showers, we take it easy peasy because of the util that I used, because Reyna didn't use anything, right? She stands here, I'm standing here, I'm droning, right? And I'm telling the Reyna to go, my drone is out, smokes are out, my drone gets destroyed in this position, and our Reyna is still standing here and didn't even use a blind. Immortal 3, by the way. Right? And then when I say, bro, you need to go with my drone, you need to follow the drone because otherwise this piece of utility is just useless. And the guy starts laughing at me for trying to play the game correctly. Right? So you end up with a duelist that doesn't use your utility that you have an initiator. So why on earth do you want to play an initiator for people who don't want to fucking use your util? And then you're also on top of that being nerfed to the ground. So you cannot use fucking shock darts for the way that you were using them before, like double shock darts, right? Your ult is getting nerfed, your drone is getting nerfed, your recon arrow is getting nerfed. All of this shit is getting nerfed, but to a point where you feel useless. And you start playing duelist yourself, right? I can guarantee you that most of you who are still watching this video right now had this feeling when you were playing ranked, and you were like, fuck this, I'm playing duelist next game myself. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my rant. This video was meant to be 10 minutes and it ended up being 30 fucking 8. Leave a reply in the comments if you want to tell me how you feel about all those changes and what do you think about them. And see you in the next episode.